we should be paid more, and hopefully that's the case moving forward as the league continues to grow. I think that's something that's probably the most important thing that we're in the room advocating about.
Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull shocked everyone with a momentous statement that is appending women's basketball. Together, they made a daring new move that no one had anticipated. It's shocking analysts, delighting fans, and altering the league's course. This is a significant event, not merely a routine update. Their choice is significant, strong, and profound. What specifically did they say that has everyone talking, then? Come learn about the startling declaration made by these superstars. WNBA Game-Changing Alliance. The WNBA was suddenly rocked by a significant event that few anticipated. Sophie Cunningham, a tough and respected veteran from the Phoenix Mercury, and Lexie Hull, a rising star with the Indiana Fever, teamed forces with Caitlin Clark, the dynamic 2024 top draft pick who has become the face of a new generation of fans. These three ladies, who were from separate teams and at different phases in their careers, got together for something much more significant than a casual conversation. Insiders describe what happened behind closed doors at the Indiana Fever's training facility as an orchestrated expose. The world of basketball is still very active. The WNBA is flourishing right now. There is more global interest than ever before, more sponsors are joining in, and viewership has increased. However, despite all of this advancement, a lot of people are still raising concerns about long-standing problems. Low income, brief careers, and little long-term assistance. This new triumvirate enters the picture with a unified voice that has the potential to bring about significant change. The star power comes from Caitlin Clark. She's breaking TV records and packing arenas. Sophie Cunningham provides seasoned expertise and the unvarnished honesty of someone who has witnessed the highs and lows of professional life, including the hardships of playing abroad during the off-season in order to make ends meet. And the future is represented by Lexie Hull. A young player with intelligence and talent enters a league that is still figuring out how to properly nurture the next generation. They appear to be developing into something more than a partnership. They're starting a movement. A campaign for increased compensation, stronger player rights, and safer, more sustainable careers from draft day to retirement may begin with their quiet but calculated meeting. Money isn't the only factor. Respect, control, and ensuring that the women who devote their lives to the game are not overlooked when the limelight fades are all important. The fact that this relationship transcends boundaries, team boundaries, age differences, and even career stages makes it even more potent. In professional sports, such togetherness is uncommon and makes it clear that the players have had enough waiting. Their timing is crucial. Renegotiating the collective bargaining agreement, establishing new TV deals, and growing the league are all major topics of discussion at the moment. And these three are aware that when players band together, especially those with this much clout, people begin to pay attention. WNBA players are evolving into more than just athleticism. They serve as advocates, role models, and brand ambassadors. They may now take the lead in actual policy reform. More fans and corporate revenue have come to the league thanks to Clark than ever before. Cunningham is well aware of the league's shortage of funding. Additionally, Hull, who is still in the early stages of her career, stands in for all young athletes hoping for a secure future in the game. What they're doing could be the beginning of something historic, a change in which players are actively involved in shaping the game's future rather than just participating in it. What are they going to do next? Is it capable of permanently changing the WNBA? Let's investigate. Movement for payment reform fans are excited about more than simply who will win the championship or lead the league in scoring as the 2025 WNBA season approaches. The future of women's basketball may be altered by something more profound that is taking place. A strong movement is subtly gaining momentum off the field. And three of the league's most talked about names, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull, are at its core. The three athletes met on July 8, 2025, inside the Indiana Fever training facility, not only to discuss basketball but also to make plans for something far more ambitious. People connected to the league claim that this was a calculated move rather than merely a friendly get-together. These three women are about to take a daring stance that directly addresses the unfair pay disparity, one of the WNBA's greatest problems. Even the best players in the WNBA have long received pay that is inadequate for their contributions to the sport. Even while the league is more popular than ever, Many players still only receive a small portion of the salaries of male sportsmen in other professional leagues. Fans and players have been discussing this issue in private for years, but things may finally be ready to change. Since joining the league in 2024, Caitlin Clark has had a significant influence. Her highlights go viral, and her games pack arenas. She has broken records for apparel sales and drawn millions of new viewers to WNBA broadcasts. In summary, Clark is a superstar brand rather than merely a player. Although she generates enormous revenue for the league, her personal income is nonetheless constrained by antiquated wage regulations. She still has to work under a strict wage cap that doesn't adequately compensate her for all of her power. However, Clark is not by himself. Veteran Sophie Cunningham, who is renowned for her fierce leadership and powerful voice in the locker room, and Lexie Hull, a rising star with increasing influence and a reputation for being astute, fearless, and not afraid to speak up, are joining her. They are a formidable trio that has the capacity to upend the system. According to sources, their goal goes beyond simply increasing their own compensation. Fighting for every player, rookies attempting to make an impression, veterans getting close to retirement, and everyone in between, is crucial. Their objective? To advocate for new league regulations that treat female athletes with the dignity they merit, set the bar for compensation, and enhance working conditions. The WNBA is currently experiencing rapid expansion, which makes their timing even more potent. The world is finally paying notice. Viewership is at an all-time high. Sponsorships are. Let's make sure that everyone on the court gains from this development. If they are successful, their initiative may be a game-changer for women's sports globally as well as the WNBA. They are challenging the system to change rather than merely requesting more equitable contracts. They are calling for a future in which athletes have a voice in how the game is developed, how the industry operates, and how players are treated as professionals rather than as entertainment. So how may this subdued movement fundamentally alter every WNBA player's game? Let's examine it more closely. The motivation behind the movement as more and more people focused on Caitlin Clark, it wasn't just her game that attracted attention. It was also what she would do with it. Not only was it thrilling to watch, but her first season altered everything. Fan interest surged, ticket sales skyrocketed, and the WNBA itself experienced a new level of excitement. However, it appears like Caitlin is now considering more than just setting records and getting sponsorship deals. Something significant is developing in Indiana behind the scenes. Two additional players, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, have been observed having in-depth conversations with Clark. Insiders also think that this trio is discussing topics other than basketball. They are creating the groundwork for a movement that has the potential to completely change the league's future. Few women's basketball players have ever had the kind of influence that Caitlin Clark currently possesses. She is a popular figure in the media, a magnet for admirers, and a future leader. Her apparent understanding of the true purpose of that influence, however, is what sets her apart. It's not all about her. She's starting to use her platform to draw attention to the more significant issues that all WNBA players face. Problems including inadequate compensation, difficult travel schedules, and a lack of assistance for players' post-basketball careers. She's not working alone either. Sophie Cunningham contributes a voice that is greatly needed. She's been in the league long enough to experience its highs and lows, including battling with low pay, playing through injuries, and spending her off-seasons abroad in order to maintain her financial stability. In addition to being aggressive on the court, Sophie has advocated for significant, useful improvements and been a strong champion for players' rights. She has witnessed both the league's growth and its remaining challenges. This dance has roots and realism because of her experience. The next generation of players in the league is represented by the talented young player Lexie Hull. She is intelligent, gifted, and full of vitality. With Lexie involved, the goal is to create a future in which young players won't have to deal with the same challenges. Hull's potential, Cunningham's expertise, and Clark's momentum work well together. They might be the catalyst for the most player-led change the WNBA has ever witnessed if they can transform their quiet discussions into audacious action. A few behind-the-scenes conversations might develop into a large-scale movement that transforms today's attention into long-lasting change for every woman who takes the court. How did this unlikely combination become the WNBA's best chance for significant, long-term change? Let's investigate. Connecting rising stars and legends Sophie Cunningham is more than simply a new player on the squad. In a league that hasn't always stood up for its players, she is an experienced warrior. She overcame a system that frequently required too much and offered insufficient compensation year after year. The strength of all those arduous seasons is now in her voice. She was part of a larger, more subdued revolution that was developing behind the scenes when she was traded to the Indiana Fever. Sophie is not just an experienced person. She is a member of the group that helped turn the underappreciated and disregarded WNBA into something that people can't stop talking about. There's more to her appearance next Caitlin Clark than merely a nostalgic blend of the two. It's a clever, deliberate partnership. The league's greatest potential currently stands side by side with its tenacious past. When combined, Clark and Cunningham stand for something uncommon, a potent blend of wisdom and wild momentum, history and promise. With good reason, experts are already discussing the potential implications of this pairing for the league. Because it sends a powerful statement when someone like Cunningham decides to collaborate with up-and-coming talent like Clark and Lexie Hull. This is about generations cooperating to improve the league for all, not about one generation stepping aside. It demonstrates a level of cohesion that the WNBA has long lacked. Adding layers is what leads to true growth, not wiping the slate clean. From strengthening the causes that have already been fought for. Then there's Lexie Hull. Even if her profession is still in its infancy, she isn't merely a passenger. As the 6th overall pick in the 2022 draft and a former Stanford standout, Lexie has already witnessed the positive effects that genuine structure and support can have on a player. She had an up-close look at what success looks like when a system is designed to support you rather than hinder you, something that many athletes do not get from training in one of the world's top women's basketball programs. She is currently in Indiana, where she shares the court with Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark. Lexie offers the new vitality of a younger generation that is beginning to recognize the weaknesses in the foundation while yet having high dreams. She represents the innumerable young athletes attempting to establish enduring careers in a league that is still battling for recognition. It's a daily balancing act for a lot of them. Should they relocate abroad in search of higher compensation? To make ends meet, should they look for work during the off-season? Or should they remain here at home and contribute to changing the game? Lexie is more than just a talent. She is a symbol of a change and a turning point. Her voice, her decisions, and her bravery in joining this expanding movement demonstrate that those quiet, behind-the-scenes discussions about justice, opportunity, and respect may at last be coming to light.